was the internment camp?
Mine, there's 10 of them. Mine was Poston, Arizona.
Poston, Arizona.
In no man's land. These are all deserted land
I see that.
that the government had. My wife was in
Tool Lake.
Tule Lake,
Where's that? What state?
in Northern California.
Oh. Were you
Right.
guys married? Oh, you weren't married. You were only 11,
No.
right? Wow. May I take a picture of this?
Sure.
I have a 14-year-old son, and I
That's what my youngest daughter was a principal in a grade school, and every time that the history of U.S. During this particular time, there was nothing written on it. Very little.
That's why I'm asking so many
And that's
questions.
why my daughter and I would go and expand it.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you been back to Poston?
Have I?
Yeah.
No.
Dad, I wrote 2 research papers on it. One in high school and one in college.
Really? On the whole process, right?
By interviewing my parents.
That is just. I'm honored. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's I love my job because I get to meet people like you.
Yeah, that's what we were. There's a group of Japanese that goes around the nation explaining, trying to expand the history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you bitter? Are you bitter because of this?
No, I'm not bitter. I just want to make sure that people understand,
Wow.
They were American citizens.
bad-
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They weren't like they were immigrants, or
No,
they were
aliens.
citizens.
They were the actual citizens here
No.
for generations.
That's
There
the
was-
amazing part.
The bad part of the whole situation is in the island of Hawaii, there was a big group of Japanese Americans.
Mm-hmm.
And when the war started, they joined the service. The ones that were in the camp could not join. We were prisoner of war. Okay. So all of a sudden, not all of a sudden, they decided they were going to invade Europe.
Okay.
So they needed men. So then they changed the rules that they were get the ones in the camp.
Is that why you have a dog tag?
No.
That's not a dog tag from the military. Okay.
They joined the service, and when they put the 2 Japanese Americans from Hawaii and the Japanese American from stateside, they put them together. But they would always fight. The stateside Japanese American thinks they were a little bit better than the Hawaiian. The Hawaiian is laid back.
Now, what's that term? You're saying a term that I can't understand. Seta?
Stateside.
Stateside.
Stateside. Okay, I thought you were stateside. Oh, so they fought with the Hawaiian and Japanese.
Yeah, so they didn't get along. And finally, they got some of the stateside islanders, and they brought them to camp and see what their parents were doing, and the parents took them in and fed them and everything else. Then they realized if we in Hawaii were treated the same as the Americans were, so would we join the service? The question mark.
Yeah.
They finally melted, gelled together from that point on. And there were a number of led the 442 is the name of their combat team, and they were highly decorated a number of times.
And that was all Japanese Americans?
Yeah.
That whole...
Yeah.
Right.
Their slogan was "Go for broke."
Go for broke.
Yep.
So let me see if I... So Japanese Americans were held prisoners of war by the United States, and then they fought with the United States, not against the Japanese, but against Germany.
Well, they fought against the Japanese too.
Really?
Yeah. There was a number of them were interpreters.
Oh my gosh.
Tell them about your mom.
See, my mother is third generation, but she was born in the U.S., but studied in Japan.
Ah.
And she was considered enemy also, you know, more so.
Enemy of us?
Yeah.
Or enemy of Japan?
Yeah.
Both.
Both, yeah, that's
my
what I was
mother,
wondering, yeah.
My father put down on the application that she only had an 8th grade education.
Oh, wasn't that smart?
But she had only an 8th grade education in the U.S., but she had a college degree in Japan. And that's why the FBI came along and asked my mother if she would teach interpreting to the flyers. And she said yes.
Where at, Dad? Tell them
And
where.
She was supposed to go to University of Michigan from camp, okay? And
That's just so bizarre. I can't wrap my head
and
around it.
they said, okay, at a certain date she was supposed to go. And my mother says she won't go unless our family goes. They just wanted her. And she refused, so it took another maybe a month to get through all this red tape. And then we left for University of Michigan.
Who was she? Who was she teaching? Was she teaching
The American Flyers.
Fighters or flyers?
Flyers.
Flyers.
Pilots.
Pilots.
Yeah.
In Michigan.
University of Michigan.
And she was teaching the pilots how to interpret Japanese or how
Yeah, interpret, not in,
to speak and write it?
no, just general interpretation, yeah.
Oh. Okay, now here's a brutal question.
But her course was over. Maybe 3 weeks we were there. And we were ready to go back to camp. And a missionary group from Chicago, says that we'll take care of the family. And that's how we went to Chicago.
Wow.
1943, right in the middle of the war.
How were you treated as a Japanese American after Pearl Harbor? Were you treated poorly by people?
Well, they numerous group like Mexicans and Filipino and the lower class were always trying to pick a fight or burning the Japanese American says that we're not going to be in we knew that we were going to go to camp, so they put a lot of their furnitures and stuff like that in storage. But sooner or later, they knew exactly where they were stored, so they go and torture.
Oh, gosh. Now, what happened after Hiroshima and Nagasaki? What happened? Because that was essentially the end of the war, but how did you feel? Did you know about that at the time, that the atomic bombs had been dropped?
Yeah. I celebrated on a streetcar.
Really? That's so...
On top of the streetcar. I was 13. No, I was 15.
I can't understand that, Mr. Miyata, because it seems like those were historically
Okay,
your people.
In plain English, I look like them, but I'm not one of them.
Oh, really? So the historical generational connection is gone.
Yeah, we're Americans.
Isn't that interesting?
Now, my sisters and brothers and I, we're all fifth
All right, another
generation.
thing.
Right, right.
In 1943,
Do you feel differently than your dad? No?
in 1943, it was right in the midst of the war. There was numerous fighting along the Marshall Islands and all those islands. When I went to class, I had to fight every kid in my class. Win or lose, the kid I fought with became my buddy. Yeah. And they made sure that there was no dirty tactics and so on. But there was numerous parents that didn't care for me.
Just because of the way you looked.
No, yeah, and the war, yeah.
Yeah, because
Their
of the
son was, for instance, their older son or whatever was fighting in the South Pacific.
Have you heard of the island of Guam?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I went to kindergarten in Guam because my dad was in the Navy.
Okay.
So I literally went to kindergarten in Guam. I have a picture of me in Guam graduating
That's
kindergarten.
one of the islands I want to visit.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Fishing is terrific.
So I have to ask you a fishing question. I called here, I think it was last week or maybe 2 weeks ago, to come see you, and my wife actually called, and I couldn't come see you because you were going fishing. Where do you fish?